Sundays.
I'll do a double intro.
There you go.
I need to make that intro seriously. I think I could do that as a stop motion.
Oh, I know you can do that. Not think you can. I know you can.
Yeah. There's do and do not. There is no try.
Exactly.
Well, the try is sometimes because I haven't experienced trying to make the entire Children of Primus logo.
That's
Do or do not. There is no try.
exactly. But if you do want to make the logo, I can send it to you because I'm the one who made it.
Ooh.
Yes.
I actually think I might take you up on that.
There you go. And then Mario, welcome once again. And he also says, hello once again, Children of Primus. Thank you for jumping in. And since it was a busy week, we didn't really pick any topics for TelaTraan 1 or TelaTraan 2 segments. So tonight, for both segments, is really a freestyle. Our collectors in disguise, we're just going to talk anything Transformers or anything connected Transformers. So what say you guys for the moment?
I'll let Magnus go first.
Oh, I got nothing. I got nothing. I got a couple of reveals that I'm actually saving until Toy Warp is here.
Okay.
So
Is this for jealousy?
nope.
Cool.
Nope.
Which I'm not sure if Toywarp's joining us in the second segment. Hopefully he is, but he was at the Sarasota toy collector convention, which was yesterday and today. So I know like he probably just ended a couple hours ago. So hopefully he is able to swing by in TelaTraan 2. Ooh.
Oh! 1
Oh.
second.
Everyone is searching for those two.
It gets better, and this is why I have to wait for Toy Warp.
Okay.
Because you see, I'm sending him a set.
Oh. Hopefully he's not hiding out in the comments and he doesn't know yet.
Fun fact, actually, from my birthday, actually this year, my mom actually got me the Optimus with the trailer, the Hot Wheels one.
This one? Yeah, they're just now hitting our area.
My mom most likely got it from eBay.
Nice.
Ooh, she paid a premium for that.
Oh dear. Yeah, eBay tends to, just go all over the place with prices.
Trust me, my mom knows eBay. Me and her both know eBay better than this entire world. We can find transfer items or transfer objects for very good, and we know when to up the stakes.
Well, there's a couple websites, but I'll email you. I'll email you that after the stream. Where you could probably find stuff for a better pricing than eBay, because eBay has just been just has a way of dealing with people. So I've actually closed my eBay account a couple of years ago just because of how eBay is now compared to what it used to be. Mario says, I'm curious about whether or not you guys saw the recent listing of year 2 of Age of the Primes and Studio Series for 2026. I guess I'll ask you guys that. I've probably seen it, but I haven't paid attention to the newer stuff. Oh, no impact.
Sorry, I was answering a text. Sorry, or not you guys saw the recent listing of year 2 of Age of the Primes and Studio Series for 2026. I saw something on Liberated the other day. Let me see if I can find it.
Only thing I can say is I know that there's going to be a Nemesis Prime. Also, did anybody see that we're getting a 86 wind charger?
No, I did not hear about that.
If we're getting an 86 wind charger, that most likely means we're getting an 86 wheeljack, and then we can combine the two together. We get another dead pack.
Definitely everyone will make the dead scene once the two of them show up.
And then another one that we're getting is a Gamer Edition Devastation 80 Bumblebee, which everybody's guessing is going to be most likely 86 Bumblebee again.
Wow.
And we're getting an 86 Cliff Jumper, and people are trying to guess if they're going to repaint the 86 Bumblebee's toy mold.
I mean, at what point do we just stop with Bumblebee?
As long as that cash cow is giving milk, they're gonna milk it.
Yeah, that's true.
Though
But
the talk is that they might not actually do his actual Volkswagen design because his actual mode in the game is dedicated after the Transformers Universe slash Throwing 30s Bumblebee mold.
okay,
So there's a talk that they might try and remold him a little and make him look a little different, or they're gonna just, well, everybody knows, cell shade the toy and make it look a little better.
right.
That's all that they're gonna most likely do if they don't decide to make a new mold.
I guess we'll have to wait and see because I know that's you know with certain forums and groups that like once the leaks get out, then everyone's gonna start running with it.
And I forget what it was, but it's either Age of the I Stambach, quit calling me arm kibble.
Whoops.
Is this joke ever gonna get old?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
No.
As I was saying, there
You'll
is
be 30 years old. You'll be an executive of your own corporation making films, and you're going to get an email from somebody. You're not going to know our real name because it's going to be us, but yours is going to be public domain because you're a CEO, and it's just going to say, "Arm Kibble, we knew you back in the day."
well, most likely I'll know you guys most likely because of this. Because right here, if I had to say, this is the most memorable part of my past 2 years just coming onto this stream because I haven't like your guys' group kind of gave me an entire another viewpoint to YouTube and including also learning stuff.
Cool.
And as I was also
And
trying
I'm sending you the link for the 2026 spoilers.
All right.
And the only other spoiler I can say, I'm not sure if it's Age of the Primes yet, but I'm pretty sure it is Age of the Primes Power Glide that we're getting, and which is for once time that we get one. And if we're getting Power Glide as our next mini bot, that most likely means Sea Spray's next. And I'll take a Sea Spray any day.
Yeah, I'll second
I was
that.
happy with-
I've heard about
I was happy
Power
with the,
Glide being
what was it,
mentioned.
Generations Sea Spray?
Power of the Primes.
Was it Power of the Primes? I'm happy
Yep.
with him. I like him.
Want him. I really want the toy. I've never experienced him. I've only ever experienced Power Glide's mold.
Oh, the Titans Return. Sea Spray.
Did I ever tell you guys how I actually ended up finding a G1 Power Glide? Did I ever tell you guys the story?
The G1 Power Glide is just this one smaller.
Yeah, I know, but did I ever tell you
this
guys the
guy's
story?
pretty much,
Oh my goodness, he's big!
yeah, and then I really like this Sea Spray.
That's a nice sea spray.
No, Spin, you got to say it right.
To be the same size?
That's really like, I really like this one.
I really like that sea spray.
My father can do the voice, including myself, but I can't bring myself to pull out the sea spray voice right now. Though,
It takes practice.
I know that because back then, trust me, when I was a young kid, I voice acted every scene that I saw in Transformers G1. Just because.
Well, I mean, you know, just because.
Oh, nice.
Oh, of course. The girl that he always throws off the entire thing or causes harm.
Where did you get the girl from?
Oh,
She's from my Masterpiece one.
Nice.
The Masterpiece
okay.
one comes with her.
Did I ever tell you guys the story? Because the story is so funny.
Well, just before you mention it, Time of the End, welcome Time of the End, says there is a sea spray already coming out this year as Walmart capsule exclusive. So
Oh, so that's going to be part of the Gears and Bumblebee set.
I wonder if it's going to be at that entire chaos like with the Cosmos like about a year or two ago. And Mario says, but isn't it weird that wind charger is going to be in Studio Series 86 when the only time we've seen him is literally as a dead body as he's possibly died off screen.
Well, there's a talk that Wheeljack wasn't supposed to be killed off, and Wheeljack was supposed to be Smokescreen. because there's actually this little cartoon era where, as Springer's running down the stairs, you see this discolored wheeljack that has parts of Smokescreen on him, meaning that there is a chance Smokescreen must have been instead the death in place. Ooh, NPM Paraglide with a I dislike the color of his mask. Sorry, but I kind of dislike the color. Though, so let's just go off the story. So I go to this church camp every June 7th, and I'm gone until I come back the next week on Sunday, so next Sunday. That's why you guys don't see me for that entire stream like last year. And so basically, 2 years
Most
previous...
peaceful 2 weeks of Children of the Primus.
Well, in America speaking, it's not peaceful because I come back the next week, aka the Sunday I come back. So it's 1 week of peacefulness.
There you go.
But 2 years before that, I'm over there. So this is me being a kid and helping out the kindergartners because I like to help out a bunch of the kids there. We're digging in the volleyball pit, and a kid comes to me with a wing piece. And I didn't know who it belonged to. It was red. But then, since the kid knew that I like Transformers, he knew that this was a robot. He brings me this entire toy, and it's Power Glide, and I have his broken wing piece with me. And it was his foot piece that was broken. He was complete, basically. And it was the official 1984 Power Glide. And me and my friends, who were all also there with me, questioned how did this end up being in here, because it also had a lot of sand on it, and I mean a lot of sand, so it had to have been there for at least a decade or so. I washed it off. It was super nice and clean. The wing piece was just broken, and my dad and I super glued it. I don't know where he is chilling by now, but I know he's chilling somewhere complete and together, but it was a very huge coincidence that I ended up finding a Transformer of all places.
Well, you know, someone back in 1990 lost that Power Glide, and you found it.
Someone's gonna come knocking on your door.
I want my Power Glide.
And he's going to be 30.
He could be 50.
Most likely 50.
So Time of Dance says, Evan said he want every single character in 86 made as a toy, regardless of how long or short they were in the movie. You can count with even the sketches that never made it into the movie.
So are we going to get a Orion Pax looking Ultra Magnus, or are we going to get a tank mode cup? Because those are their original designs.
And it also says like Sideswipe's tracks, Mirage and Red Alert.
Those guys were supposed to be in the actual film, actually. When Devastator rips through that wall, it's so weird, actually. The Devastator part where he rips through wasn't supposed to be there. So when Megatron points and all that same stuff happens, Optimus, when Optimus shoots at the Decepticons and everything.
Is that the new one?
Yeah. Since you mentioned Devastator, it's like, oh yeah, speaking of the devil, that's the Devastator gun that he's holding.
Of course.
I haven't seen any of the new bots. None of the new bots have hit here yet.
Yeah, Bone Crusher had already got picked up by the time I got to Myers. I missed my shot.
I don't have a Myers near me at all.
That G2 Grimlock Prima and Megatronus. I got the ones with the pretty colors, so well, two.
My Walmart already got hit with these guys. We have Sentinel Prime, Scrapper, and Ironhide, and we have the G2 the box set Bumblebee thing. But as I was saying about all the I was talking about the entire scene, Optimus is supposed to get tackled by Astrotrain, a Seeker, and Blitzwing. And as this happens, Devastator walks into that giant crater that he created from Swoop coming into him. Mm-hmm. And he rips through the wall, which is that first part that we see before Megatron shoots off his gun and everything. And then Ultra Magnus comes in with Trax, Sideswipe, and what's his name again? Red Alert. And they fire at Devastator. Their missiles are what get shot at Devastator, causing him to separate into his smaller counterparts. They fire at them, and the entire scene plays out. But then Megatron walks in. The Autobots fall back and retreat, and the Constructicons chase them. And that's actually where we come to Optimus and the One Shall Stand, One Shall Fall entire part, actually. So when Megatron turns around to see Optimus, that's actually where that entire scene was supposed to be. And for a fun fact, when Optimus looks down and then looks back up at Megatron, a cone head was supposed to be coming at him, and which he picked up.
Yeah, which is Dirge, another person on YouTube. I believe he's also on Instagram. Artist Stan. He has animated all of those missing scenes from the movie.
That's actually where I got this all from.
Yep.
I've actually been looking for this for years, but I used to have a book. I need to go to my mom and dad's house and go down in the basement and look at their bookshelf. And if it's there, I'm going to love it. But I had a book, and I want to think I probably got it from one of the Scholastic book fairs. And it was Transformers, but it was about the Transformers movie, but it wasn't like a storybook. It was like almost like a tech spec for each one of them.
Okay.
And it was a little bitty paperback. I'll bet it probably wasn't 60 or 70 pages, and each page was a different character. Because I'm just looking at the list for 2026, and Kranix is in it.
Oh, right.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of exciting.
In that book, Kranix and his race were talked about on one of those pages, and it showed what he transformed into.
Oh, I know what you're speaking about. And actually, a friend of mine in school, he had introduced me to it. It's I don't remember at what point within the original G1 comic book line, but it was a 4-part series of basically like bios, and Kranix and Arbalest are in that book. I think I have
that's it.
2 or 3 of that.
Who's Arbalest?
He's also one of the people that died from Lithos.
I thought you were talking about it sounded like the female Junkion, because there's a talk that the toy itself might actually be reissued into the weird female Junkion.
Interesting. Well, it's within the book, it's kind of like the expanded versions of the tech specs that Bob Budiansky wrote, and in that book, that's where you see where Prime is mentioned, that Optimus is the truck and Prime is the trailer, but they don't mention that on the tech specs, and the cartoon only referenced that once.
Also, for a fun fact, this is exciting because it's now tempting to either get one or the other. In 2026, we are supposed to be getting a single reissue of both Thundercracker and Skywarp, and which is tempting to me to just wait it out and not buy the Siege mold. Well, maybe I'll buy Siege Skywarp because I want him for the toy and the blast effects, since I've never experienced the toy mold itself. But I'll buy the Siege. I'll buy the Siege, not Siege, the Earth, 86 Skywarp and Thundercracker.
Cool.
They're on this list: 86 Skywarp, 86 Thundercracker, 86 Shockwave. Nice. Voyager TF1 Alpha Trion.
I'm excited for the Barricade. I'm questioning what they're going to do for the Barricade.
This is the one that I'm liking. The Deluxe TF1 Arachnid.
Oh, interesting.
People have been talking about. I honestly might like the figure. I'm not sure yet.
Well, it also says TF1 Thundercracker.
Yep.
So I'm hoping that it's not going to be like the TF1 Starscream.
Oh, right.
Where the pictures and everything show him being a Tetrajet, but he's still an F-15.
Remember, that was the main line. This is Studio Series. So these guys are going to, look way better. And I have an assumption they might try and reuse some of the stuff that they used in the Bumblebee movie Seekers, because they both very much share the same mod and design for their characters. We're supposed to be also getting a Starscream.
Let me catch up on the comments and then the link that you sent. So Mario says, and apparently in the '86 movie when we saw Wheeljack colored like smokescreen and as an animation error, and we've known it was supposed to be smokescreen because it was shown in the storyboards. And
So
also
it is
says,
true.
and the same thing that happens with Sideswipe, Riddler, and Trax are riding on Ultra Magnus and transforms and shoots their shoulder mounted missile and hits him, which he falls in and discombines.
So it does prove smokescreen was supposed to exist.
And Time Event says, yes, what he said is correct. That's why Magnus was made on the '86 toy so big to carry the others. The Kranix '86 toy coming on in 2026 is proof they intended on making everything as toys.
Well, that at least clears up some things.
Just that by the time 2026 rolls around, we're going to be paying Canadian prices to get them here.
And it's funny you mentioned that because I've seen how things have been playing out, and I think because of the tariffs that are hitting China now, it's kind of like the Americans are now seeing the reality of what Canadians are going through. So it's like for every dollar we pay, for every dollar that it costs you guys, it costs us $2. But now it's kind of the same thing to get stuff in from China into you guys. If it's costed them a dollar, and now it's costing you $2, which then imagine
Right.
how much it's costing us.
Well, as long as your shipping doesn't come through the U.S., it shouldn't be an issue.
That's
if y'all
true.
if y'all can get shipped direct from Japan, that tariff shouldn't affect you all at all.
Because there are most websites that like it is direct from China, Japan to Canada. But then depending how it's shipped, there are times when it does go through the U.S. and then then there's the tariff, and then there's also the border tax as well. So there's like a double tax on the tax.
And this is
With
all
my-
an example why silver spoons shouldn't be allowed in politics because they don't
You ain't
understand
said
how
shit.
economics work for almost all people around the world. Because
With my entire general area, I've bought unfortunately so many random things off my mom's phone on accident from China. For an instance, let's just go off now that I own Q finally. Well, I bought Q 3 times. My mom canceled the first 3, and now basically I have Q just chilling in my collection finally.
that Studio Series one that came out.
No, the original.
Okay.
And so that happened. And then I bought the KO of Dark of the Moon Ironhide, in which I will be buying unfortunately again because the goal is by the end of the summer is to have all the Dark of the Moon Autobots so I can recreate the entire Dark of the Moon film actually. So
why you got to buy a second one? What'd you cut off of him?
I didn't cut off any of him. He dismantled. He broke into pieces because I got this toy when I was 5. So I threw that thing around like a rag doll. That's why it broke. Parents, can you yell over here that it is true he dismantled into pieces by me throwing him around the wall?
Parental units, defend me.
Well, it is true. I didn't. Also, for the heads up, I didn't have any thoughts of breaking Transformer toys unless just taking them off the ball joint. I didn't actually have a blade or anything to cut off or dismantle or Sharpies at the time. So
my first fist fight was when my best friend at the time broke the foot off of my original G1 hook when we were kids. Because he didn't pull them apart to flip the leg out. And then the classic part that breaks off a hook is the right foot that has the cab on it. I think because you don't pull them all the way out, and then you try and flip that leg back in, and it hits that piece of steel in there and snaps off. And he went, "Bill, I'm sorry, I'm broken," and that's about all he got out.
Oh God.
Children of Primus does not endorse beating of best friends due to broken Transformers. Although
I
I've
have
got my
never
own
had to
stories.
fight a friend of mine because of a broken Transformer. If anything, with broken Transformers or Transformers in general, I usually sometimes end up.
friends. You don't have friends.
With my friend,
If you've never gotten to a fist fight with your best friend, you don't have any friends.
This is true.
not exactly true, because me and my friend Paul have been we've known each other since we were pretty much born, and we've never gotten into a fight unless it was a snowball fight.
Tom and the Instant Impactor talking about Bay versus agitating my allergies. Oh, love it. Love
Okay,
it.
let's talk
Love
more
it.
about Bayverse. First thing I can say is I hate the Dark of the Moon Q for, and I'm referring to the studio series thing. That Q is horrendous. If I had to say anything, I'd prefer no legs over the one that has legs but has a horrible face.
And Toro
My
says,
man.
he who beheads Transformers doesn't make friends.
I don't behead Transformers. The head breaks off without me trying. I've had
That's
that
kind
happen.
of worse in a way.
I've had 5 Transformers in my entire life. As I'm trying to transform the figure, the head snap off clean. And the first one that I can say that happened was my Berserker from Transformers Age of Extinction, not Age of Extinction, Transformers TLK. And it was fun trying to get the ball joint out, because now that the ball joint's out of his head, I'm going to buy 2 KOs of Crowbar from Studio Series, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the duplicate of Crowbar, remove all the dreadlocks, and just remove the head and pop on Berserker's head, so I then have in a manner of speaking, a Dark of the Moon a crankcase, since we're never going to get another crankcase in our entire Studio Series life.
Hammer is that setup.
Soulless.
Solus Prime.
I'm gonna try to get her back in a robot mode without having to get the instructions out.
Mario mentions, and Mirage 2 was in the storyboard. We're in a similar place in Autobot City that Blur was while, and Mirage was shooting Bombshell, and Megatron flies and shoots him, but turns invisible. And also says, and when I say that, because when Mirage turned invisible, because when Megatron flies and shoot him, while we've seen the next panel in the storyboards, shows him alive and shooting the Decepticons.
Well, he didn't go invisible, more like he went inside the building, because the building was a moving building. Bombshell flies under, Mirage shoots Bombshell. He, crashes down to the ground. That's why we never see Bombshell until he's getting dragged away. The building continues collapsing until the point that's in a orange box, pretty much. Then Megatron comes and shoots the box where Mirage was in, and then he appears next panel in another box. Well, not another box, another window, showing that he was alive and well.
Yes. So actually, the link that Magnus that you had sent, I have it up on the screen now.
Well, those are our first 3.
So the 2026 Studios Series full listings with a TF1 Alphatron, 86 Shockwave, and more.
I will teleport right back here. I have to get my charger so I can show you guys the work in progress stop motion I have here. Sayonara.
Cool.
Yeah, while he's doing that, just a service announcement. If you're transforming her, be aware of, it's made to come out, but these little panels that flip comes off pretty easily. And keep in mind, I'm sitting at the top of a stairwell, so luckily it was right the step below me that my feet are on. Otherwise, I would have been pissed.
I actually was going to ask you about that if they do pop out, since I have seen that Toy Guy's review of her.
Well, that kind of says a lot about the quality in terms of a certain newer Transformers. for certain characters, like the heads, limbs, and certain things, they easily pop off. And then other characters that are, 40 years old, like they're still as solid as the day they were built. Where you literally have to break the toy in order for something to pop off.
I've never seen I've seen. So there was this person who bought a, like, not KO. It was like a So there was this gift set back then in Dark of the Moon times where they released this gift set where it came with a G1 Optimus and a Dark of the Moon Deluxe Class Optimus with trailer and a different color scheme of Dark of the Moon Jolts' gun in silver and black. The G1 Optimus was made out of metal and everything. The person bought 2 packs on accident, so he decided to do a durability test video with the duplicate. And that Optimus took him 4 weeks to break. It took him that long for the metal on the toy itself or any of the parts to break off. Everything that kept happening to him was the hands just kept popping off and the paint kept chipping. Not a single thing happened to that thing. It basically survived until the 4th week where the metal finally broke in half on his legs.
This isn't an issue of it being broken. It's just, sometimes some spots you got to have nails. Definitely getting the head back out. You got to have some nails to get it back out.
I can say the same thing about Q's head because I've had to make sure I don't pop off Q's head since it's so easy to come off.
Find where the joints are.
So Mario says, so you're going to go over the listing and listen to your general opinions and thoughts of them. So I'm assuming the listings that Magnus has shared with us. Okay, so we'll bring that back up on the main screen.
Let's see these others.
I've got it on my screen if you want to bring us back up. That way we can talk about them and I'll read them down.
Okay, cool.
I've got it on my screen too.
All right.
Or screen 1. You all are actually on screen 2. And then I've got a search over here on screen 3.
So, Deluxe Generation Studio Series Bumblebee.
That's going to be our Gamer Edition Devastation.
Yeah. It says DEV Bumblebee. So Devastation Bumblebee.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know what that is unless that's from the video game, I guess.
It's the video game one, except the people are talking about if it's going to be a reissue of 86 Bumblebee with cell shading, or they're going to do the route and make a new figure since his vehicle mode, since they couldn't get the Volkswagen stuff and everything, they based his vehicle mode off of the Generations Thrilling 30s, I think it was, or Universe Bumblebee, since they couldn't do anything, so they made him a Universe Bumblebee vehicle. I'll just pull up an image of it and I'll send it to spin.
Cool. And then there's also, as you mentioned before, the TF1 Orion packs.
It's going to be a smaller Optimus.
And then there's also...
I kind of like this one because of that he's all 3.
Oh, right.
Let me try and get my ring light off of it. Yeah, he goes from Orion packs to Optimus with a transforming cog to Optimus Prime. So he's all 3 sizes in one bot. Which I was cool. Really hoping that they were going to make a Megatron this size too.
Right.
And instead, I got this.
Let's see. On the list, there's also a TF5 Barricade.
Yeah, that's the one I'm excited about because I'm questioning if they're gonna make if they're gonna reissue the first mold except with better posability and maybe not door flaps, tire arms that don't like to break off. Since I had the same toy and the tire flaps on both of his arms broke off.
And Toy Warp says, "Listen to 3-screen Fancy Pants McGee over here."
Is that
Actually, if I wanted to, Toy Warp, I could slide the laptop out that feeds this, and I can have 4.
Oh, we're gonna have to battle one day. I'm sitting on 3 screens too, and I got a 4th one over there.
That's right.
I have one screen, and then I have a monitor. If I wanted to I could hook up if I wanted to, but I don't like monitors.
Once you go double screen or more, you can't go back to a single screen.
No. Let me see
Nope,
if I
not
can
gonna
get
make.
a hold of
Nope,
this.
nope, nope. Not gonna say it. Not gonna say it. Not gonna say it.
Save
What are
it for
you gonna say?
TelaTraan 2. Save it for TelaTraan 2.
I can say this: if you were a DS or 3DS player, it wouldn't be so special.
Interesting.
I am a 3DS player.
Were you around when the DS was around, like, or after the 3DS came out? I'm trying to think.
My parents, I don't know honestly. So back in my childhood days, we didn't have tablets or
Yes.
electronics.
That's the laptop down there, and it powers this beast.
There you
In
go.
my family, we were fed by mainly the TV and a bunch of other things, and my parents would buy us games. One of the things that my parents bought us the most were Leap Pads, which were kid iPads basically, and they would buy us a whole bunch of games for them. My personal favorite was Rescue Bots' Race to the Rescue, which was a Transformers Rescue Bots game that they made for the actual little kid's iPad. But then my parents bought us DS's. We only had one, which was my DS in specific, which was the 3DS. Well, not the 3DS. It was the DS something. It was a big DS. It wasn't one of those small ones.
Was it like
And
the one that's just a single
DS
slab,
Lite?
the two?
Was it the DS Lite?
it wasn't the DS Lite. It was a brown one that had camera on it. Like it was the size of a
Probably
phone.
if it wasn't a 3DS and it was a DS, and it had a camera, that would have been a DSi.
It might have been a DSi. And so that one, I had a bunch of games, mainly all the Scooby-Doo games I loved to play, and Transformers Prime's video game that they had, which involved Thunderwing, in which I honestly think we should have had Thunderwing in Transformers Prime just because of how big he is for a beast.
Mm-hmm.
You know that those DSs still go for $100 to $140 frickin' dollars.
You
Really?
can mod them.
That's
really
what I'm
well,
looking
that's
at them
why.
right now.
They're
Wow.
really
Let
good
me
for
search-
modding.
The DSIs go for 119 to 130.
Let me check
Interesting.
my eBay.
It's because people mod them.
Ah, okay. And
Because they're good for playing a lot of emulators.
Interesting.
Same with
really?
the original PSP and Vita.
Yeah, it was a DSi because the ones that I'm seeing look exactly like. I even just found the one that I had a burgundy maroon DSL X, well XL, and that thing goes for $150.
So Toy Warp says, look at y'all counting clear up to 4 tonight. So Children of Primus has been brought to you by the letter C, by the number 4. And Toy Warp also says, Sodom said him knows his stuff on DS's, and Mario's requesting that we get back to the listings that we were on before we jumped over to Nintendo. So we mentioned Barricade. There's 86 Wind Charger that we had also mentioned. 86
Yep.
Kranix, which was mentioned, and Cliff Jumper, and TF1 Thundercracker.
I'm just scared for the Jets. I hope that they're going to be a fancy Tetra. I mean, I love my Tetras. I've got every one of them back there.
Mhm.
Are they? But the way that they're drawn in TF1 and on the box for the TF1 Starscream, which looks nothing like what the drawing on the box is, I really hope that they have something that looks close to that animation.
Right. No, there's also a 86 Shockwave, which was mentioned. And then there's the TF1 Alpha Trion. But I mean, just before that, thinking of with the 86 Kranix, I wonder how many people are going to get that and recreate any of the scenes with the Quintessons and the Sharkticons.
Well, I can definitely say I'm recreating it, like, as I just said now, basically, with a bunch of stuff that's happening. If I do end up making enough money to get this A6 Hot Rod from Mr. Magnus here, and 86 Kranix comes out, I would be more than willing to recreate that entire scene, actually, by buying the Power of the Prime's Dinobots, since 86 is not going to be in my price range to buy the 86 Dinobots. I'd be more than willing to recreate that entire scene, since it isn't that hard to recreate water effects, because the water that is used, the yellowish water, I could just get a bunch of clear plastic wrap and yellow shredded paper and just recreate Kranix falling into the water, or aka plastic wrap and shredded paper, and maybe buy 3 more Sharkticons and have him get teared to pieces.
No, Mario mentioned a point that is, and those was also another listing that apparently Sunstreaker was also going to be in Studio Series 86.
He's
And
in
he
this
did make
list.
I heard
We said
that.
it. We said Sunstreaker. He was right
I
after
did not recall that.
Windcharger.
So
Yeah,
Sunstreaker,
86 Windcharger, 86 Sunstreaker, 86 Kranix.
Yep.
is there an 86 Hound? Because now realizing Hound was in the same spot as Sunstreaker.
Yes, he's coming up. We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Not there yet. So there's Soundwave, Astro Train, Snarl, and then TF5
That Snarl's
Nemesis
already
Prime.
on Big Bad Toy Store as a reissue.
And then for the 86th 30th anniversary capsule, there is Hound, as we just mentioned.
I'm excited for that.
Voyager Scourge, Voyager Hot Rod, and LDR Optimus Prime. So
That's
that
leader class.
leader class. So that is the list.
All of, yeah.
Oh wait, that's that party pack that I heard about. Not party pack, that pack that I heard about. People are talking about that's going to be 86 Optimus without the trailer. Or is it going to be a glorified reissue of the Earthrise Optimus?
Why would you want an Optimus Prime that ain't got a trailer?
I'm thinking the same thing. Well, but I mean, think about it in theory. I mean, we watched how many seasons of the cartoon, and the trailer just magically disappears. So,
It's cyberspace.
Well, the thing is also the pricing, because if he has the trailer, that's
Oh, that
also
looks
going to
good,
slightly
Venom.
make him expensiver. Turn him into a foot. I had to say it. There we go. Here is the foot.
nice.
Hey, Tour Warp, start talking trash again.
It's starting to get tempting, honestly. Like, if they were to, let's just say, make a $100 and something pack for the entire, like a gift box for the 86 Devastator, I'd be more than willing to buy that over Menasor.
The one that I'm like lukewarm about, if even lukewarm, is the aerial bots. I have like the Combiner Wars. Is it the red one? Firefly, Firelight. They give him a different name in Combiner Wars. But I mean, other than him, I just find him to be boring looking, because it's like the white one, the black one, the gray one.
Is the figure
In
good?
different
Because I'm
amounts of
right now
colors.
contemplating and buying the entire Combiner Wars
I
Superior
like the
because
Decepticons, I like the Constructicons, but I just find the aerial bots to be boring.
Are you referring to the official Combiner
That-
Wars figures?
I got the Combiner aerial bots before I found out about Masterpiece stuff. But I've got the Superion with all the upgrades for the.
Do you
Combiner
do you have
Wars
the
with all the
super
upgrades.
hard and elusive what's his name again?
Slingshot?
Yeah.
Please.
Well, Magnus is getting that.
So I'm just saying it because Slingshot was super hard to obtain for a lot of people if you're trying to have the original Combiner Wars Superion, since Alpha Bravo was his replacement, and which also, for a fun fact, if we want to go off wreckers, actually, Alpha Bravo is a wrecker.
Cool. Well, while Magnus is getting that Aerobot, he says, and to remind you, it's like supposed to be the 40th anniversary capsule.
Oh my goodness, he has them.
Like Sublime, because 2016
Where
was
did
the
you think I was
30th
lying?
anniversary.
Wait, no, you don't have Slingshot. You have Alpha Bravo. Alpha Bravo's the helicopter. Slingshot, remember, is the...
Dude, there are no helicopters on this beast.
Oh, wait. Okay, something was... okay, sorry. For a moment, the gun
the
was... in...
shrooms, child.
No! I'm not on any of that stuff. From
Too much
afar.
Mario.
Let me explain this. The gun in the moment looked like the helicopter blade. It was in the way. It was right, perfectly centered where
Let me
Slingshot
grab
is.
my Optimus since I had the blades on him.
Now we're almost rounding up for the evening. Toy Warp is sending a
I've got
message.
Alpha Bravo.
Ugh.
Cool.
People say that
But he's just a ground troop.
everybody's been turning, like, for some odd reason, like, I've been doing a bunch of research because, as I said, I want to recreate. If we don't get all the rescue bots in Transformers Age of the Primes, a lot of people have been trying to make their own customs. I've seen 3D printed rescue bot blades, but a lot of people have just been turning to that blade, to Alpha Bravo specifically, and, like, modifying him completely to look like rescue bot's blades.
Cool. Toy Whip is sending a message out to everyone in the comments section saying, hey, comments section, like watching these guys, give them a thumbs up and help the channel out. And
Yes!
yes, thank you. And also check out Impactor Productions on YouTube. I give his channel a like as well. And we're almost rounding up for our first segment. Impactor, what do you have to show us for this week?
Well, let's just disconnect my headphones and we will start the awesome startup of my Transformers Bumblebee movie, Cybertron. Stop. Let me just double check volume's doing good, and let me just fix my tablet. And disconnect audio because you guys are not going to hear a single thing if I don't disconnect my headphones. Okay. So this is what I have for, wait, one moment. I have to run this thing just to double check. So you guys chat about random stuff while I just have this thing run. I need to make sure that it's working at its 100% accuracy.
So what random stuff have you guys seen today? I've seen lots of random stuff. Literally random stuff. Do I sound like Donald Trump yet?
TelaTraan 2. TelaTraan 2. Careful, Stedham. You're wearing orange, so we could go all over the place with this.
Oh my god! All you need is a red hat.
Sure do have on underneath. And that doesn't help bleach. He should go with his orange hair.
So Mario also mentions, because I think the capsule subline from listing was a missed spelling error, like next year in the 86 movie 40th anniversary and 30th anniversary was 2016.
Alright, stop motion has ran through.
The stop motion is ready?
Yep.
Alright, let's give you the
Wait, do
screen.
you have all the aerial bots? Or is those the only twos you got?
No, well, one's blades from what are that team called Spin? That Blades is a member of?
Protectobots.
Protectobots. I got them, so I made that custom red Optimus, where I got the 4 red bots as his limbs.
Cool. Shiba Kobe has made it back. Light Costco run. Picked up Bone Crusher this week. Hook long haul pushed back to September.
Just like everybody else, including Beachcomber and 86 Magnus.
Oh dear. All right, let's see what you have for this week.
Be aware, this part of Optimus is unfortunately going to have to be a part of the stop motion, so I'm giving you a heads up warning because I cannot redo this entire scene again since how hard it was. That's all I was able to get done before the stream.
Still impressive. That's still very impressive.
And not to mention, for this entire scene, I actually used a flashlight to make the blast effects actually glow.
Nice.
I bet your wrist just loved you while you were having to do all of that.
No, my wrists did not. My entire arm did not. My entire shoulder blade did not.
Well, yeah, you're young, that's what.
My hair was sticking up. And I mean, like, sticking up from how crazy, like, how sweaty I was trying to hold Optimus in the air.
Mario says, like, can you believe that 1986, that the 1986 is going to be 40 years old next year, which is crazy. And I mean, it's we're at that age where, you know, someone will be like, you know, your favorite song is like 45 years old, and I'm like,
Instruments of Destruction, baby.
You know, but at the same time, it's cool every now and then when you know, you can tell someone like they're giving you attitude. I'm like, you know, I got toys that are older than you, or twice your age.
Oh.
So you know, be careful. And Impactor from Toy Warp says, I give you a lot of crap, but you do amazing work, which I agree.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
that is true, and I can respect it.
Way to take the compliment there.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, that's true. I can respect it. But no humility whatsoever. You
He's
do
learning.
amazing work, but you got to work on that humility just a little bit.
Yeah.
He's learning. I mean, Impactor last year to Impactor this year is a huge improvement.
A huge, huge improvement.
But I mean, and also goes alongside with the stop motion. Like every work that we see is just gets better and better.
We might have to actually, like, go... You know what? We should have one of these streams where we go back and look at the old streams, or we look at my old stop motions.
We'll have to find some of the ones where I'm sitting out there and all you can see is my cigarette fire because there's no light.
I was just thinking that it's like, you know, Magnus, like just like those things, you know, someone's like up on the hill, like trying to find a signal. those were the days. Look where you are now.
That's
I
right.
joined your guys' stream maybe sometime last year with maybe before summer. So sometime maybe in May.
All of this is brought to you in thanks part for the Biden infrastructure plan. We put internet into rural areas.
There you go. Who knew?
Oh, just for one random thing that is slightly not Transformers. With my family and everything, I do this weird camp thing, actually. So, well, not camp, it's a church thing called, I forget what it's called again. I'm forgetting a lot of stuff now, but there's Blades in helicopter mode.
Mhm.
Now I'm gonna have to look up whose gun is who. Oh well.
It's called Pathfinders, and we have it's just like Cub Scouts basically, except it's church stuff. And I have to get my crocheting on her, and well, this is me crocheting a lot of stuff.
Oh, very cool.
The goal is to have this thing as long as my table, and then I have to stitch everything together with this hook.
How long have you been working on that?
Mm-hmm.
Impactor, how long have you been working on that?
Since today. I started it last maybe 2 weeks ago. The first test failed, and I gave up on the first test. I then destroyed it and came back today, and at that church, and started that. This right here is one of my sister's work. She has gone ham and has actually started making full-on gloves. Oh, and she actually made this for me.
Yeah, look at once you get done with, I assume it's like you do so many assignments or lessons or whatever. Look at your first crocheting versus like your last. Like I can look at like the first thing I sewed in that sewing class I've been in versus even like the first item, just the first like line versus the second line. There's a significant improvement.
Well, this one's a significant improvement because I didn't get that much on the first test. I only got like this much on the first test, and well, now basically I've gone like this long now in the entire notch with supportable hooks. That's what they're called.
Cool.
So, so little known fact about Mr. Magnus. Back when we were kids, me and Spin, of course, our age group, we didn't have daycares. We didn't have stuff like that. So you stayed with a relative. Everything. If your parents had to work during summer break, you either stayed at home or you stayed with a relative. And my great aunt, that's my mother's aunt, she made all of her and my great uncle Abe's clothing. You know, she went out and bought material, and she made everything that they wore except for her bras and their underwear. That was the only store-bought clothing that they had. So my summers were spent beside her sewing table, learning how she made all this stuff. I made both of my sisters' wedding dresses.
Holy crap.
Nice. Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that because I was going to say I'm impressed that they're still teaching the younger generation sewing and crocheting and knitting and everything because it's a lost art from back in our days.
Well, home ec doesn't exist in our school system in this area.
It
Not
doesn't.
anymore.
It's
That's
been
super
wiped
cool,
out over
Mr.
here
Magnus.
too.
I give you respect for that.
It was a like an elective, a bonus class you could take. But it was just cooking, and it was just seamstressing.
For us,
and it was only for girls.
interesting.
And it was set opposite of advanced PE. So because somebody threw a fit because the sports guys, you know, the football players, the basketball players, the baseball players had an extra PE class where they got to review sports stuff.
Okay.
And so somebody signed up and said, hey, well, there's nothing for us. And so they made this cooking and sewing class. And I was like, oh my God, are you all real? And only girls can sign up. Whoa. That's like saying that only guys could sign up for advanced PE. You all gonna get shut down. Shut down. And it did. It got shut down. They just took them all out.
Oh dear. All right, we're gonna
Right,
jump
there'd
over
be
to
a riot. I've seen many things in my watching cartoons world. If something like that happens, there's going to be a riot of children, or there's going to be an imaginative Nerf war of World War III.
No, we're gonna jump over to a TelaTraan 2 segment. So everyone in the comments, get ready to jump over to TelaTraan 2, and we're gonna carry over that part of the conversation. But please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with your friends, and thank you guys for hanging out here. Thank you, Impactor. Check out his channel and like his videos. And as we say at the end of the streams, till all are one.
To all are one.
To all are one.
We now return you to the Children of Primus.